Hands up if you love Naughty Dog. Of course you do, they only made the game of the generation, and before that the other game of the generation. But what about before that? Before the days of impeccably mocapped actor chops and running away in 1080p? Well, there was Jak and Daxter, which anyone over the age of 15 will tell you ruled PS2 with a fist of colourful sass. And now with the Jak and Daxter trilogy bombing its way to PlayStation Vita, there's never been a better time to dig up Naughty Dog's illustrious past and chuck it about like a vibrant rugby ball of nostalgia. Catch! It started in 2001 with Jak and Daxter the Precursor legacy, which reminds us that back before Daxter was an impudent ginger Otzel, he was an impudent ginger whatever those things are that Jak is. Knocked into a vat of bubbling dark echo, Daxter transforms into the wise-cracking, moonwalking, fourth wall breaking,
"This isn't a game"
scallywag we all know and are begrudgingly fond of. Cue an adventure filled with nonchalantly murderous fish.
Yeah, you can't swim there, by the way.
Jak doing the creep, and Daxter doing whatever that is he's doing there. There are some bad guys too, called Gol and Maya, and a quartet of primary coloured sages, but that's all stuff you should discover for yourself, much like this agreeable fisherman who laughs at anything. Hey, fisherman! What did Jak say when he found Daxter crying? What's all the fuss about? Alright, you can stop laughing now, because 2 years later along came Jak 2 with a darker story, a darker Jak, look what happens when he gets angry, and darker facial hair, although there was the option to toggle the chin fuzz if you found it too offensive. We kept it because we're adult and edgy. See? Much like the world Jak found himself in, Haven City was a steaming metropolis of strobing neon and hoverbike tailbacks, hoverbikes you could hijack and then drive into the nearest building at silly miles an hour. New characters, sexy new graphics and slick upgradable weaponry completed Jak's transformation from silent teen to brooding adolescent, and a fresh race of enemies called Metalheads ensured that there was never a shortage of things to blow in half. Jak 2 was unlike any platformer before it, bold open world and wonderfully shooty, but still in keeping with the laugh out loud charm of the original.
This could have a serious impact on the lady factor.
Plus it had a hoverboard that was cooler than refrigerated awesome. Completing the trilogy in 2004 was Jak 3, shifting the action from the bustling streets of Haven and dumping Jak, Daxter and P.E.K.K.A, that gobby parrot monkey thing, into a vast sandy expanse encouragingly dubbed The Wasteland. Sparga City, a settlement filled with sand, bones and brown, served as your hub, whereas outside you could hunt giant metalheads or just prat about in dune buggies, or both at once, if you like. Other things that made Jak 3 even more amazing than Jak 2 were an increased weapon count, banging, and also a light Jak mode, which gave our hero wings and a celestial glow that perfectly complemented the purple "I'm going to rip your head off" scowl of his darker side. It was still all about ace platforming though, although prettier, shootier and sandier than ever before, shot through with an epic story and another bunch of balmy characters. So the logical progression had to be carts, or more accurately, massive spiky sandmobiles with guns on. Jak X Combat Racing hit PS2 in 2005, helmed by a lady called Amy Hennig, who'd go on to write and direct this little series of games you might have played on PS3. Jak X featured customisable vehicles, echo-powered weapon pickups, and a plot that was there just as an excuse to churn other races into a cartoon suit like some kind of 128-bit Boudica, and we loved it. Jak got ditched in 2006 for a PSP sequel simply named Daxter, which chronicled the 2 years in between the Precursor legacy and Jak 2, where the Orange Otzel was tasked with rescuing his friend from the Crimson Guard. How does he do it? By swatting bugs with an electric swatter, that's how. Well done, Daxter. Unlike every other handheld spin-off in the history of ever, Daxter was actually brilliant, thanks in large part to developers Ready at Dawn, the studio who are now making PS4 exclusive The Order 1886. See, you learn something new every day. unless of course you already knew that, in which case here's something you definitely didn't.
I once had a hamster called Horace, who turned out to be a girl. He had babies and everything. There was blood everywhere. I thought he died. 18 months later, he did.
Moving on, all the way to 2009 in fact, to Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier, which saw the dynamic duo together again, and this time fighting off a bunch of sky pirates in some hectic aerial battles.
The game was released on both PSP and PS2, and incredibly, even though it wasn't developed by Naughty Dog and was sort of a spin-off, wasn't rubbish, racking up excellent reviews and keeping Jak and Daxter's record of only ever appearing in stuff that was brilliant thoroughly intact.
And they're at it again with the Jak and Daxter trilogy now available for you to play on your PlayStation Vita in full HD and with lovely trophy support. Go and get some! And while you're at it, don't forget to check out the other videos we've got for you across the channel. And if you fancy it, hit that big red subscribe button and give us a like, because we're likeable.